Hello Rebels, welcome back to Rebel Base. I wanted to say thank you so much for the 1,000 subs. It's very appreciated. Today's what if hinges around what happened at the end of Revenge of the Sith to C3PO. Let's imagine for a second that Bail Organa didn't request that his memory get wiped. We can assume that even if he did, something could have gone wrong to prevent the memory wipe. Nonetheless, this is what I want to talk to you about today. Having his memory wiped at the end of Revenge of the Sith was critical to the story. This prevented C3PO from opening his big mouth and letting slip the identities of Anakin's children. 3PO also wouldn't have to worry about what he knows when falling into the wrong hands. Had he kept his memory and learned to keep vital information a secret by keeping his mouth shut, I think the story would have gone something like this. The end of Revenge of the Sith would go the same except for the memory wipe. We would then continue with A New Hope as we know it, except this time 3PO would realize the gravity of the situation of having the ship boarded by Vader. 3PO, being the intelligent robot he is, would be able to infer that Vader is actually Anakin. This would make it a little harder for him to keep this a secret from Leia, knowing she is Vader's daughter. 3PO and R2 would escape to Tatooine to continue the search for Ben Kenobi. Landing on the planet, 3PO would instantly know that he is home and has to find the Lars homestead. 3PO would help lead R2 to the Lars family, skipping the scene with the Jawas almost entirely. Showing up on the doorstep of the homestead, 3PO would introduce himself to Owen and remind him that he had been there all those years before, with Anakin looking for Shmi. After all protocol droids look a lot alike to Owen. Owen would be wary of 3PO meeting Luke and the fact that they are searching for Kenobi. Despite Owen wanting to protect his family, Luke would eventually show up and introduce himself to R2 and 3PO. Realizing the need to still keep things a secret, 3PO would acknowledge Luke and pretend to have never met him. He would tell Luke that they are on an assignment from Senator Bail Organa to get in touch with Kenobi. Luke would take 3PO and R2 to see Kenobi. Upon arrival, 3PO would greet Kenobi and call him Master Obi-Wan. This would open the door to the discussion about why the droids were there and what happened to Luke's father. Now, if Kenobi had told Luke that his father was killed by the Sith, 3PO would know this was actually inaccurate. C3 was on Mustafar with Padme and knows that Kenobi and Anakin were there also. He would also know that they went to Mustafar to stop Anakin and bring him back. Upon Kenobi arriving alone with Anakin's saber, this would lead C3 to the conclusion that he was possibly dead. He could also assume, based upon, probabilities, that if Anakin was somehow alive, that he could be the new Sith that emerged around the same time. He would let this fact slip, and that actually puts what Kenobi had said into question in front of Luke, and that the possibility of Anakin being alive and as Vader right now is a high possibility. Kenobi, knowing this to be true, would cause that he explain everything to Luke. Luke would then understand that Leia was his sister and that she was in trouble and that he must go to help her. Luke would ask to be taken along and to be trained in the Force like his father. Things would go fairly similar from this point on. They would find Han Solo and orchestrate a way to get off Tatooine to rescue Leia. Kenobi would still die at the hands of Vader. Luke, knowing that Vader was his father and watching him kill Kenobi, would make him enraged and upset at what had happened. They would rescue Leia and get her off to safety with the rebellion. Luke would be much more watchful over Leia, knowing that she is his sister. He would wait for the right moment to tell her that they are related. They would arrive on Yavin 4 to regroup, only to be forced out to Hoth after blowing up the Death Star. On Hoth, Luke would be searching for ways to continue his training. 3PO, knowing that Yoda may still be alive, would tell Luke that he knows that Yoda could actually train him. Luke would press to know if C3PO knows the location of where he can find Yoda, to which he would respond that he doesn't know where to locate Master Yoda. The Empire Strikes Back would be relatively the same. Luke would just about freeze to death after being attacked by the Wampa. He would know where to find Yoda after Obi-Wan appeared to him. Han would find Luke and bring him back to the base. Leia would be so happy that she would try and kiss him. He would put a stop to the kiss and begin to explain all that he knows and that they are actually related. Leia would search her feelings and find that he was actually telling the truth. They would then split ways with Luke, going to train with Yoda, while Han and Leia go to Cloud City. While on Cloud City, 3PO, although in pieces, would finally come close to Vader. He would be able to confirm his suspicion then and there. While on Dagobah, Luke would receive a vision that Han and Leia were in trouble. Yoda would warn him that he wasn't ready to face Vader. Luke would bark back that he may not be ready to face Vader, but that he is ready to face his father. Luke would arrive on Cloud City and confront his father. Only this time, Luke would be the one to reveal the relationship between them as he dangles off the platform. He would tell Vader to search his feelings to find that it is true. He would also implore that he should join them and that together they can bring back peace to the galaxy. Vader, coming to the knowledge of the truth, would insist that Luke join him so that they can rule the galaxy or be taken prisoner. Escaping capture, Luke falls off the platform and dangles off Cloud City. Knowing that Leia can feel him through the Force, he reaches out to her for him to pick her up. Luke would arrive safely aboard the ship and tell Leia all about the fight he had with their father. Luke would show up to the next brief where he would plan how to get Han back. C3 would openly explain that he was pleased that Vader didn't kill Luke and that he didn't understand exactly how a father could attack his own son. This would reveal to the rebellion that Darth Vader is Luke's father and that he must be Anakin. This would also confirm to everyone that Emperor Palpatine was a Sith Lord. With the knowledge about the lineage of Luke and Leia out there, thanks in part to C3PO, his part in the outcome of the Skywalker saga wouldn't change much. They would still go to Endor to fight the Empire and destroy the second Death Star. Perhaps having known sooner about his father, Luke would have returned sooner to Dagobah to squeeze a little more training in. It could even be said that Luke would have started training Leia sooner thanks to 3PO sharing the information about their relationship with him. Still, Luke would go to face Vader and this time the Emperor as well. Luke, knowing beforehand without a doubt that Vader was his father, could have asked Yoda more about the Sith. Had that been the case, Luke would have been more prepared to know what he was walking into. Perhaps Luke would do a better job the second time in trying to convince his father to join him before being taken to Palpatine. Luke would still be taken before Palpatine. He would also end up having had more time to cope with what his dad had done. This would make it so that his anger wouldn't get the best of him as quickly as it did. Luke would end up fighting his father again, and it would end up more in a draw, and it would last longer because he would keep his anger under control. This would give him more time to convince his father to join his side. Palpatine, seeing that he can't turn Luke, would end up shocking him in front of Vader in hopes to show his strength and keep Vader on his side. Vader would still come to the conclusion to save his son and throw Palps into the reactor core. Only this time he wouldn't be weakened from the fight with Luke that resulted in the loss of his arm. Had this happened, Vader may have had enough strength to get off the Death Star with Luke. If he did have the strength to walk off the Death Star, he would have been able to see Leia with his own eyes. He would have been able to let go of all the anger and hate that was inside him. Anakin, having let go of this anger and hate, would then become the person and father that Luke knew he could be. Anakin would have received the medical attention he needed to live without the suit. He would get to see C3PO and R2 again and live a good life for what time he has left. This all may have happened, or Vader could still have ended up dying due to the damage from Palpatine's Sith lightning. Either way, this story would end up the same way. Luke would eventually have his Jedi temple, he would eventually train Leia and help future generations when needed. Leia would become a general in the rebellion and lead the charge against the New Order. C3PO would play a vital part in the rebellion. He would be able to locate Luke a lot sooner with the help of R2, and C3PO will always play a part in the Star Wars franchise. Having his memories stay intact may not have affected much on how it all ended up, but he would have been able to speed up the process a lot. He would have been able to find Kenobi sooner, tell Luke about his father and who he was as a Jedi. He would have been able to keep a complete record of the Skywalker family. Maybe along the way as well, he would have learned how to keep his mouth shut. Overall, if keeping his memories were to change anything, it would be with the character progression of Luke and Leia. A lot of the story was set in stone before his memories were wiped. Had he kept them, the overall story, I believe, would stay the same. The information and memories he had were of people, and not huge event-altering details. One thing that could have changed, like I mentioned, is that Leia could have started the Jedi journey sooner. If you would like to see what actually would happen, or what I think would happen if Leia was a Jedi in Return of the Jedi, then check this video out. I hope you all have a great day, and may the Force be with you, always.